Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Box Football. And of course, we have our resident Arsenal fan, James, here. Um, and we're going to talk Arsenal today, just for a little bit, maybe 10 minutes or so here. Because I think something is bubbling away under the surface here, James, for your team. And I think that is the weight of expectation. Um, because what I think happened for a long time, and again, you correct me if I'm wrong here with my history, is Arsenal for a long, long time under Arsene Wenger were contenders, were pushing for multiple titles, but were up against a really challenging Manchester United team and pushed them all the way. And a couple of games where Manchester United, I think, got a little bit of an unfair advantage, whether that be referees or whatever else. It could have been potentially closer over the years. And then there was a bit of a change, leaving Highbury and the Emirates and paying for a stadium and the end of Wenger. And, that was kind of challenging because there felt like there were financial restraints because the club needed to pay for the stadium and some other things and some resentment to ownership. And how can you possibly be a Wenger out or Wenger in? How does that conversation even start for a manager like that? But it did. A couple of replacements come in and maybe don't do such a terrific job. But then this young guy comes in, mini Pep Guardiola or the prodigy from Pep Guardiola from spending years with him at Manchester City and Mikel Arteta. Some good recruitment, some good signings, and things start to move and have started turning around. The thing, though, that I think is concerning is what do Arsenal have to show for it at this point? And for you, is that even important? Because I would imagine that your relationship with your team and the team that you support is far better now from the relationship that you had when we were at university together. And you were complaining to me about some of the players that you had and maybe some play style and how teams were operating compared to how Arsenal were operating. So my question to you is, where do you stand with, are you in the kind of we need to win a Premier League this year or next year, we need to, or are you just kind of more relaxed and you think this has legs and this has longevity?
It does have longevity. The way the squad is built, the way the manager is, and like to me, just the way the club is right now, it's a long-term thing. But as much as we can talk long-term, as much as we want, Jack, you got to win. You got to win to break ice. And Arsenal for the last 2 years have kind of been the bridesmaid instead of the actual bride. Come close on so many occasions. And to me, I believe in football that there's a psychological battle that goes into every player's head. And in that's every sort of sport, and especially for a team who's been so close on now two occasions and even three occasions now. Because Jack, the season before that, the season before we challenged back-to-back years, we were on this Champions League run, and then you know what happened at the end. We played Tottenham, we collapsed, Newcastle collapsed. But this team right now has got to a point where, Jack, they're just at the cusp. But they must take that step. And if they don't, Jack, and if they constantly fall short, these players are going to doubt themselves. And Jack, you're going to doubt themselves to the point of view that you're going to believe that you can really be the elite of the elite. And I'm hearing Arsenal fans right now saying, oh, look at us. We got our Arsenal back and all that sort of stuff there. We're challenging. And I'm delighted to just say that we've challenged back-to-back years. That is incredible. But I don't want to look back at this era of Arsenal and just say, you know what? Man, I miss them times. I miss them. You know how Spurs talk about their time with like Pochettino? They all missed the Champions League final, finishing second. They didn't win anything. Ultimately, Jack, especially, we're not talking about a mid-table team. We're not talking about relegation team. We're not talking about a team in the championship making their way up to the Premier League. We're talking about a team who have been top five in the last 30, 40 years in the Premier League and are the second most successful, third most successful team in English football. Yeah. I also need to get back to the point where it's not just challenging. What you're doing right now is great. You need to win. Winning brings substance. Yeah, we are the elite of the elite. And if we constantly get to the point where we're finishing second or we're just falling short, it's going to affect these players long term. And I don't think that they'll be able to take the next leap and win and think about win titles going forward, Jack.
But so let me address a couple of concerns that if I was an Arsenal fan that I would potentially have, right? So you've got this great team with great players and you're doing all this fantastic stuff, but you're not quite winning, right? Do you get worried at all on the commitment levels of somebody like a William Saliba, like somebody like a Gabriel, somebody like an Odegaard? Some of these players who have been fantastic for a good chunk of time, if Los Blancos give you a call, or if a team that Lionel Messi used to play for give you a call, or if one of these big suitors comes along with a big checkbook and a big bank account and offers you to play in the new camp or the Santiago Bernabeu, is that a concern for you that if you don't make the most of it, a couple of players might look elsewhere and go, you know what? I'm really good and I think I can win elsewhere. I need to win. Does that concern you at all?
There's only one team that concerns me, Jack, and that's Real Madrid. And Jack, even if you're winning, if Real Madrid come calling, you know what these players, you know what it's like. The lower Real Madrid, the all white, that's the one team there. The way I look at world football right now, Jack, I genuinely do believe that Arsenal are on par with teams like. I don't think Barcelona have that lure that they used to. Granted, if maybe Spanish players or Latin players will want to play for Barcelona, but it's not the pull it used to be a couple of years ago. You know, when Barcelona would come calling, it was almost the same as Real Madrid. Bayern Munich to a certain point, I don't think it's the same draw that it used to be. Juventus, AC Milan, Arsenal are on par with these teams. I'm not worried about these guys getting taken up by them. It's only Real Madrid, and even if we're winning, if Real Madrid come calling, probably gonna go. Yeah, I'm not. I'm definitely not worried about that. And also, you mentioned commitment. I see these guys long term right now. They seem happy at Arsenal. Why would you want to leave a team like this, where Jack, you make his like people must understand in football, history matters. And winning with certain teams matters than winning with others. So let's just say right now, if these players join Man City and win their fifth, sixth title, it's great. It's still a title on their niche. It's still a chalk on the board. That's incredible. But if you win a title with Arsenal after not winning for 20 odd years, do you know what sort of coup that is? Just I mentioned the other one, Liverpool, when Liverpool end up winning their first title in 30 years. These guys won a title with Liverpool. That puts them in a stratosphere even higher to me, like what they would do winning a title with, for instance, Man City, like at a standpoint. History matters. And I don't believe a lot of these guys will really give up where they are right now to leave another team by Real Madrid.
Um, so I've got a couple more for you. First one is Man City get relegated. Starting next season, Arsenal win a league, but with Man City, Pep Guardiola, and those guys in the championship. How do you feel about that Premier League win? Is it tainted at all for you, or are you going to be too happy that you don't even care?
Personally, I want to slay the dragon. At the end of the day, like if you win this, it will always be with Asterisk. Man City wasn't there. And if Man City was there, we know what's going to happen. Granted, on the list, it's Arsenal's name on it. And Jack, when Man City, if let's say Man City go on to win the league, I'll probably be like, yeah, they need to get relegated and all that stuff there. Get rid of Man City. But as I stand right now, and as a level-headed person, like I want to slay the dragon. We want to stop Man City from winning the fifth title. Yeah, we want to stop this Pep Guardiola reign because it'll be even more spectacular when we do. Because we can generally look at this team and saying, not only did they just win a title, Jack, they win beating Man City, a team who won four Premier League titles in a row, trebles, 100 points. They beat that team, and these players in the club just gives it's an even more of a boost of an ego because then after slaying Man City, it's not just that. It's then can we take the leap of what Liverpool didn't do and go back to back? It's all like the extra stuff is added to where the mental. I honestly I say the mental part of it because it's a big part of it. Once you crack that first one, the second one, the third one becomes a lot more easier. And once we get it, I'm just thinking then it's like, oh, can we go back to back, which Arsenal haven't done in God knows how many years? Can we get three in a row? It becomes that. But I would love, and we must slay the Dragon Jack. It's just the way it is for me.
The final one, final one. I think you've mentioned it. And again, we do this a lot. You've mentioned multiple times about the mentality side. Is there anything else this Arsenal side need to do to actually slay the dragon and be Premier League champions for the first time in 20 odd years? What else needs to be done?
Jack, me watching that Villa game, the one thing I notice about it is that Mikel Arteta has built a machine, a monster, a team who don't have to play well to win. And that to me is, especially going forward to win titles and win that is absolutely massive. When Arsenal play well and turn it on, we can win 5-6. I remember like last season was a Sheffield United or something like we won 6-0. We blew them away 5-0 in the first half. Everton, there was time we were just blowing teams away, West Ham. We can do that. But the fact that we're resilient to me is absolutely incredible. Jack, what was the question again? Sorry, my mind just went a bit
Well, no,
blank.
just so you've mentioned, I think your answer is probably that the mentality shift is
Oh,
the
the
biggest
mentality.
thing that needs to change. But I'm wondering if there's anything else that you think Arsenal need. I don't know whether it's a signing or whether it's, I don't know what it is, but you tell me.
Brilliant. The mentality side is like two things. It's hitting the bully in the mouth. And what I mean by that, last season Arsenal took 4 points off, 4 points off Man City, which was huge. But the biggest one was away against Manchester City. We went there, we got a draw, which I looked at. It was great because past couple of years we getting battered at the Etihad. But when you look back at previous teams who went on to win title, there is a statement win yet against their biggest rivals. I remember Chelsea when they went under contact that they went away to City, won. When think about it, when Leicester won the title, they went away to City, who were defending champs at that time, won. Arsenal, Arsenal the first time under Wenger went away to Man United and won. And Man City going think about it, going away, being Manchester United, being Manchester United 6-1 to let them know that they are really there. Arsenal to me need to make that next leap and go away to City and look them in the eye and beat them. And not just beat them the way that we beat them last year with loads of injuries. No, beat them at their full strength. And then they can see that this team is for real. Having Rodri talk about to me in the final seasons that he's seen Arsenal celebrate a 2-2 draw when his team's mentality was all about winning, it left a bitter taste in my mouth. I want us to
Yeah.
go there when City are at their absolute best and really, really hand it to them. Secondly, the biggest thing for me is to find an X factor killer. Arsenal have very good players, and Bukayo Saka is getting to a point where he's becoming the best player in his position. I probably believe that right now that he probably is the best right winger in the world. But he also has this X factor right now, cutting inside and scoring big goals. But I remember watching that Bayern Munich game last season, and watching Bayern Munich have so many X factors on the pitch, like Musiala, like Harry Kane, like Serge Gnabry, players who can just do something out of nothing. And I looked at a lot of Arsenal players there, and it was very systematic, whereas pop, 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 pop. But what happened when the system wasn't working? Which the system wasn't working, we seen these players come up short. I believe that we need that player with that bit of X factor, that player that can do something out of nothing. Man City have it Man City have it with a player like Kevin De Bruyne. Liverpool had it with a player like Mo Salah. You look at all the great teams, Barcelona had Neymar, Suarez, Messi, and I know that's the elite of the elite. But Arsenal to me needs that player that can produce. And granted, would I love it in the striker position? Yeah, but more likely we're not going to get it. But I look at that right hand, I look at that left hand side. In Trossard, I'm a big fan of him. I think Turkish said he's the best 12th man. He can be a 12th man or a starter. He makes a big difference. Martinelli, I'm a bit unsure about. But we need that player that can just give him the ball at any moment when things are going wrong and just produce something out of nothing. Either that's a Nico Williams who's grown and grown and grown, and we know how much Arsenal want these young players in there. A Rafael Leao, who to me, when he gets his mindset, is one of the most unstoppable players in the world. Just a player of that ilk, for instance. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of another player that is available, but those are the two that really spring to mind. Somebody that can produce something out of nothing. Musiala,
Coman?
Kingsley Coleman,
Kingsley Coman
Coco
available?
Kingsley
Yeah.
Coleman, who apparently that we're heavily linked with, which will be an incredible buy. We bring that in and take our squad to the next level. Then I'm thinking not just Jack in the league, but then you're looking at Champions League, because Jack,
Jaden
that's a step. Would you
Jaden
say?
Sancho? Jaden Sancho? Maybe not. Less said the better. Raheem Sterling?
I like Sterling. I like Sterling. I like Sterling. I like Sterling. Sancho, I'm not. Sancho's good. I don't know if he's going to take us the
I'm just
next.
trying to think. I'm just
You
trying to
know,
think about players who might be available. But guys, you heard it here from the resident Arsenal fan. What he thinks that needs to happen. I am just going to say that he did pick Man City to win the league. Still, I've taken Arsenal. I'm going for it this year. I'm hoping the charges and the distraction will be enough to put Man City off and will stop this tyranny that Pep Guardiola and Man City have put on the Premier League, and Arsenal will hopefully win the Premier League this season. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Drop a like on the video if you've liked the conversation we've had here, and hit that subscribe button if you're not already. And until next time, me and James, we will see ya.